Andy, did something happen between you and that girl last night?
Well, gentlemen never kiss and tell.
Dear Shandy. Welcome back to another Dear Shandy Golden Bachelorette recap, listeners. Hello, Andy.
A very spooky
recap.
recap.
Ooh.
Yes.
Are there any
very
Halloween
scary.
songs we know?
Are there Halloween songs?
I only know the Monster Mash.
Yeah, there's no
That's
Halloween
all I
songs.
even
There's
know
so
from-
many Christmas songs, but no Halloween songs.
Yes, but I don't know if Halloween really needs songs.
I think Halloween needs a song.
Really?
Oh, there's that's the theme music to Halloween.
Oh,
Sort of.
I've never seen Halloween. That's a horror
Never
movie.
seen it.
It's horror.
You should really see it. Oh, you shouldn't see it.
No.
You don't like horror movies.
I have a feeling that's really not up my
Michael
alley.
Myers, who shares a name with the funny Michael Myers, interestingly. But it's a fictional Michael Myers, sharing a name with the real Michael Myers.
Oh, I was confused. I thought you were saying Michael Myers to mean Mike Myers, and I was like, who
Mike Myers.
would ever call him Michael Myers?
The funny thing about Michael Myers is that he became famous like shortly after Halloween really had its hit.
Okay.
So I don't think Halloween would have named the guy Mike Myers had he already been famous.
Got
He changed history. Oh, actually, he didn't.
Who
He
didn't?
screwed up history. He made Mike Myers less scary. Because whenever I hear, they're like, "Oh, Mike Myers," I'm like, "Oh, you mean the Canadian comedian?" Or
Oh, so that's the lead character in the movie Halloween.
yeah.
Okay. Was anyone else not following that? You're making me sound like I'm the crazy one. Okay, so it is Halloween.
Yeah.
And you know who loves Halloween, we've discovered, is Irish people.
Irish love Halloween.
Yeah, it's been really hardcore. Like they take Halloween. I've been seeing costumes for over a week now. Our neighbors in Wexford have had their house decorated since September. I mean, it is hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
September. I don't think you're supposed to be doing any Halloween stuff in September. I actually don't think even the first week or two of October should be Halloween stuff.
Okay, so here's the real question for Christmas decorations. Is it okay to do it before December 1st?
I mean, Christmas it's so jolly. I mean, if you want to do Christmas in October, I'm not going to fault you.
Okay, so clearly we are in a different locale today. We are actually taking a little mini vacation from Wexford. I have a little break between performances. And so we are now in Killarney.
Yeah, it's an Inception level vacation.
It is. It is. And I hope our YouTube viewers will appreciate our setup. We had to get creative because this was a giant mirror. And so we took the decorative blanket things from the beds and draped them there.
Yeah,
So yes.
you like it. Nice.
Okay, so Andy, before we get to this recap, we have a tiny bit of housekeeping on top of it being Halloween and us being in Killarney, and that is us picking our Shandy's brains about what to recap next, because this is obviously going to be over soon, Golden Bachelorette, and the next Bachelor show will not air until 2025, as crazy as that sounds. And so we sort of want to recap a show in the interim, and we were wondering if you, our Shandies, would prefer Love is Blind Season 7 retroactively, so it's late, it's already ended, or Love is Blind Argentina, which starts up on November 6th, so we could be like right, in time for that one. So let us know in the comments below, and over on Instagram, I'm going to put up a poll in stories to have you cast your votes, because we want obviously as many Shandies tuning in as possible.
Yeah, or neither. That's an option. Neither.
Wait, you mean and have something else instead?
Nothing.
Nothing? Just no recaps?
Nothing.
Oh, is that what you would want, Shandies? Andy?
I don't know. I'm just giving them the option to be passive aggressive.
It's just just go away. They go out of their way to cast a vote for us to shut up.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Andy, I think it's time to get going.
All right.
Oh, and I forgot my iPad on this little getaway, so I am using a laptop.
Much less cute.
It is less cute. It's because I used my iPad to sing a recital, like an hour-long recital program, and I used it for the music. iPads are, I always diss iPads, but they're handy.
Good gadget.
I remember when it first came out, I was like, that's a silly device. Who needs that?
I said that about everything.
Really?
I'm not good for tech.
Yeah, for
I'm not a
predicting.
visionary.
Yeah. You're no Steve Jobs.
Although I knew the Google Glasses was a joke.
Oh,
Google
yeah.
Glass, I was like, no, it's not flying. And the Apple Watch, I was like, this is going to take a long time.
Well, a lot of people have the Apple Watch.
Never really took off fully.
You think?
How many people, like, did more than half the people you know have an Apple Watch?
No.
Okay.
But occasionally I will see someone with an Apple Watch and I'm like, wow, that really seems to be a part of your life.
Yeah, people who have Apple Watches are Apple Watch people.
Yes.
But people who don't have
They're
Apple
always
Watches
like tuning
do not
in.
care.
I find that they're always like, Like they deal with their Apple Watch with a slightly too serious face, in my opinion, considering it's hilarious.
Totally ridiculous. But I will say that it's very impressive for a company to boast that if half the people you know don't have something,
yes,
it's a failure.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're
Think
right.
about that.
And I would say at least half the people I know own some version of an iPad.
Yeah.
Okay, overnights.
Overnights.
Yes, I forgot my.
Overnights.
Yes.
Overnights. 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 But definitely not sex.
Definitely not sex. I mean, they made that very clear.
Yeah. A lot of sleep and not a lot of with you. But that's okay.
No,
I mean, that's fine.
No, I'm not judging. I just found the whole episode sleepy.
Yeah, sleepy.
Heavy on the sleep.
Yeah.
Not heavy on the something else.
The pizzazz.
Yeah.
The joie de vivre.
Yeah.
The je ne sais quoi.
Okay, so we pick up in Tahiti where Joan
You
appears.
try to scream, but terror takes your voice before you make it.
Oh.
You start to freeze, but horror looks you right between the eyes. You're paralyzed because it's thriller night.
I mean, classic.
That's Halloween
That
song.
is a Halloween. I will give you that. I have danced to that song on many a Halloween.
He made that thinking Halloween.
You think?
I think he thought, you know what? I'm going to make I like zombie movies, and I like money,
Yes.
and I like singing.
Yes.
And I'm going to put them all together.
Yes. Very good, Andy. You found your way with the Halloween song. Okay, so Joan is in Tahiti. She appears to have the entire plane to herself. And Andy, you said Tahiti has really good waves.
Tiahupu.
What does that mean?
Yeah, it's one of the best breaks in the world.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a very tubular, huge, like 20-foot waves, perfect rolling tubes. It's like the most famous surfing. You know, the Tahitians invented surfing.
Is a trip to Tahiti in our future?
Well, Tahiti is a very beautiful place. Many islands, over 100 islands.
I haven't thought of Tahiti in so long.
Invented the word tattoo.
They did?
Tattoo comes from Tahitian language.
Really?
Yeah, and vanilla, the best vanilla in the world.
Is
there anything better than a good vanilla?
No, you're right.
So thank the Tahitians for that.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so she goes straight from a plane to a cruise. It's the Star Breeze by Windstar. This looks nice.
Windstar, for those of you who like to travel in luxury.
That voice sounds a lot like your Chock selling reverse mortgage voice.
Two different ones.
I'm
similar.
Sorry. Andy, you said what a heavy plugging.
Yeah, really going far with the money.
And as she goes over her 3 men, Guy has B-roll here that made us laugh out loud. He's opening his glass doors. There's something about Guy's B-roll that cracks me up every single time. He's just like,
I feel like that was like the 8th take. They're like, all right, that's fine. We'll take it.
I find it very endearing how not good at it he is.
That's great.
So Nancy from Golden Bachelor joins. This is a fine time.
Looking fine.
She does look, I mean, they both look incredible. And we don't really learn much new here, I've got to say. The only slight thing we learn is that Joan worries that Chock is too good to be true. But other than that, I do feel like we saw Joan come to life in this conversation.
Yeah.
Because Joan, we've talked before about how she's like more emotionally reserved, but I felt in this, like it almost felt like a girly conversation. She was like, oh my God. And there was energy that came out in her here.
Nice.
So she makes it clear here that the fantasy suite, the value of the fantasy suite is the time off. And apparently she has said there's no beds. This people came at us last week because you talked about the possibility of
and I'm gonna
rubbing.
I'm gonna say something here. Okay.
Okay.
I'll say a couple of things.
Oh.
First of all, I don't think it's necessary for her to do that.
Oh.
I think she can just as easily do that in the room, but it's fine. I don't have a major beef with that.
What do you mean not have beds?
I don't think there needs to be an announcement that there will be no fooling around in the fantasy suite. I think she should just be able to do that in the fantasy suite, but it's fine. I'm not coming at her for that.
Yeah.
What I will say is that you don't need a bed.
I love that that's your takeaway.
I'm just saying.
No, it's true.
A bed is optional. You can do it on a bed.
No.
You can do it against a wall.
Yeah, you can also do it on the sofa that they were, toasting
Delightful sofa
Yeah.
over a desk, on a sink. hanging upside down from some chains.
It's so true, Andy. You make a great point. Something about this, I agree with you. I feel like this is the kind of thing that could be just, I feel like she's covering a lot of bases here, and it feels maybe generational to me to go to such lengths to make sure no one thinks that they had sex to the point where you say there are no beds. Apparently, though, I don't think she said it in the episode. I'm quoting Shandy's, who in the comments last week scolded us for apparently not watching enough interviews with Joan.
Podcast interviews.
Yeah, so apparently Joan in other interviews,
said she was
like on TV or whatever, had said that there are no beds in the fantasy suite.
Okay. All I'm saying is that generally my position on Fantasy Suite is just don't talk about Fantasy Suite.
Yes.
Just do whatever you do in the Fantasy Suite, it's your business.
Yes,
but
it's
I don't
Las
need to
Vegas.
know whether you're doing it or
stays.
not doing it. I also don't need to know you're doing it. I don't even want someone to say, look, I am telling you right now in the Fantasy Suite, I am having sex with everybody. Well, I don't need to know that either.
If anything,
that would be amazing though if they said that, but I don't need to know that.
It almost felt like so extreme of making sure no one thought there was a chance that it almost made you wonder if something did happen. It's like
it was the lady doth protest.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I am definitely not having sex in the Fantasy Suite. And that's where you cut in the 80s movie to them just having sex. Is that?
I don't know. Yeah. I've never attempted that, okay? I was hoping we could just
That wasn't bad. That was pretty decent porn music. Yeah.
Okay.
Mine's just a little lower, probably, lower register.
Okay, so Nancy asks about red flags, and Joan says, the only red flag is my heart.
Well, she should probably see a cardiologist in that case. Yeah.
Okay, so we touched more on her guilt regarding John, but nothing really new. I do like to have Nancy said here that Joan always puts others first. It's time to put herself first. She says, lonely is not a place you stay. Lonely is a place you walk through. I thought that was nice.
Yeah, I think she probably had that ready, locked and loaded, but it's still nice.
Okay, so now we have guys overnight. They are in Moorea. Moorea?
Sure.
It's beautiful.
I mean, Tahiti is
spectacular.
Tahiti famous for not having a lot of hotel rooms.
Really?
They keep it simple there.
Oh.
They don't want to turn it into Orlando.
Okay.
So they have very few hotel rooms, many islands, and very few hotel rooms. So when you go to Tahiti, you get the experience. You're not overwhelmed by people with cigarette t-shirts.
Do you think that's cigarette t-shirts? What does that mean?
I don't know. That's just people who buy a t-shirt for the cigarette brand they smoke. I generally think that's a that's a
type of person.
That's as low as tourism gets.
Sounds a little judgy, Andy.
I'm just saying that it is judgy. Yeah. I am judging.
Yeah.
I am saying right now that if you buy a t-shirt with the name of the cigarette brand you smoke on it, I'm judging you.
Okay. Guy going into this gives some more fantastic B-roll with one very decisive spritz of cologne. I love this. He was like
strong. Yeah, one and done.
That's all he needed.
Was it direct car noir?
Guy says that he hopes their relationship reaches a whole nother level.
Oh, Guy.
Andy, you groaned. Okay, so they ride a catamaran here, and Andy, you said, is that Guy's boat too? Okay, so people last week were like, there's no way that was Guy's boat. We, in fact, got an entire email from someone about how there was no way that was Guy's boat.
Yeah, okay.
Because apparently a boat on that lake is, I don't know, he couldn't afford it.
Yeah, they're like maligning his income.
So they're sitting on this catamaran, sipping champagne, talking, and it is just, I just am not buying these two. I'm not, it's not that I'm not into it because I think there's like a mutual respect. And I think the way Guy looks at Joan is just so sweet. Yeah. He's like a cartoon character of a cartoon character who's really in love with the
he's
object of their
character
affection.
of Guy.
But this conversation, Joan is like, oh, I loved your hometown. When you talked with your family about making memories, like it made me think of my family and how we love to make memories too.
Yeah. Everybody like memories.
I mean, oh God, is this scintillating conversation?
Yeah.
Was I just...
Do you like memories?
I mean, yeah.
Do you want to make some memories?
Yeah. Who doesn't like making memories?
Let's make some memories.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't you find this dry?
Yeah.
Dry.
Yeah, it's pretty dry.
Like, how was this a conversation? I swear more than 50% of this entire overnight date was spent talking about things that had already happened in the relationship. And they've only had one date and one hometown. And so there wasn't that much to work with.
And I will say again, I know this show works under a construct, but I do feel like good relationship doesn't need to talk so much about the good relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes,
All right.
I agree.
So Sharleen, there's something I noticed that is very different about you today that I rarely see.
What?
You are wearing jeans.
Yes. I'm wearing jeans because they are good American, always fits jeans. These aren't like other jeans. These are cool jeans. And I mean cool in that they are like high tech. They are tummy smoothing. They have no gap in the back waist, which is so annoying. And possibly the coolest part of all is their one size fits for design. It adapts to your body's changes and fluctuations. So we're talking, if you are in a range of sizes, then you will buy like one size. One size fits 4 sizes, basically. Isn't that so cool?
That's crazy. It's the closest you can get to like a Jetsons jean, where you just press a button and your jeans fit perfectly.
For real though, seriously, if one day you're feeling more bloated than the next day, that has been a reason why I can't wear, or not I can't, but where I don't want to wear jeans. Comfort is a big thing. And I've often found jeans not comfortable. These are so comfortable. I mean, you would never guess that this is one size fits 4.
And Good American caters to all body shapes and has inclusive sizing.
I love that. They go from a size 00 up to a plus size 32.
And I will say this, you respect comfort more than anyone I've ever met.
I do.
You've taught me a lot about it.
I have taught you a lot about comfort.
Yes.
You did not appreciate comfort enough when I first met you.
I did not. And the fact that you are wearing those jeans
Yes.
frequently,
Yes.
to me says comfort.
Yeah, no, it's true.
So shop now at goodamerican.com.
Use promo code Shandy to get $50 off your first pair.
Don't forget to select podcast at checkout.
And choose Dear Shandy to let them know we sent you.
So Sharleen, I think we can all agree that one of the biggest expenses any human has, especially in this country, is rent.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they always talk about that, like with your income, like the amount you should be making for how much rent you're paying. Like it's a major
nuts.
expense.
People are working 6 to 8 months out of the year to pay their rent.
Yes.
And why not get a little bit of sugar, a little bit of sweetness for that rent?
Totally. If you think about how we get points for different things that we spend money on, wouldn't it be amazing if you could get points on the rent you pay every single month just to live where you're living?
Enter Built Rewards.
Yes, Built Rewards is massive. This is one of those why didn't anyone think of this before ideas, honestly. It's a fantastic app that lets you earn points for rent that you are paying. And by the way, these aren't like rinky-dinky points.
No, as a matter of fact, they were voted the highest value points currency by the Points Guy and Bankrate.
Which is massive.
Massive.
The Points Guy, by the way, I use the Points Guy all the time.
Yeah.
For them, him. Is it a him or a
It's
them?
a him.
I know
I
it's a
think
team.
we met him once. Didn't we meet him on that cruise? Wasn't that the Points Guy? It was.
But seriously, they would not call points high currency if they were not.
They have to. Their whole reputation
what they
is based
do.
on what they do.
So imagine then using those points towards your next rent payment or on travel. They have partnered with 500 plus different airlines and 700,000 plus different hotels so that those points can be used towards these different purchases.
It's the best. You're paying the money. The money's out.
Yes.
You're paying that.
Get points.
Get something for it.
Yes. We are living in a time where you should be getting points for every dollar you spend, and Built Rewards is coming at the perfect time. This is the perfect niche.
And
Rent.
it's the thing you spend the most money on.
Yes. So earn points by paying rent right now by going to joinbuilt.com/Shandy.
That's joinbilt.com/Shandy.
Be sure to use our URL so they know we sent you.
Joinbuilt.com/Shandy.
To start earning points with your rent payments today. Guy continues to be over the moon for Joan. He tells her that he's fallen for her. Lots of words of affirmation here. He says that they're at the exact same place. He's not clinging to his career. He can focus on what really matters. So
All right.
he's basically saying, I'm ready to
That's it.
retire.
I'm ready to stop helping people.
They go snorkeling. And Andy, you were so impressed by the underwater footage of
Unbelievable.
various sea creatures that you
Sharks.
were sure that this was stock footage.
Yeah, for a second, but it wasn't. You saw their face with it.
Okay, so as they kiss now with snorkel gear, Andy, you said gross. You want to explain that?
Well, first, I have a strong policy about underwater hooking up.
Oh, yeah, you think it's overrated.
Not overrated beyond belief. Like,
Yeah.
it's just not good.
Yeah, I would
It's not a good
concur
time.
with that.
And then you have that snorkel gear on, and your lips are all like kind of smushed. You know how they get
Yeah.
like that? They're all smushed, like your
Yeah.
upper lip.
Yeah.
And you're kissing, and you got that like salty. It's just a mess.
Okay, so now, meanwhile, back at the, I guess, resort, I'm not really sure where everyone's staying. I think Joan is staying on the ship, And to be honest, I think the men are staying on the ship too, probably because of that lack of hotel rooms.
Yeah, that's true.
So somewhere, Chock and Jesse are chatting. Chock admits he's in love with Joan. A guy like him doesn't just throw that out. He really seems hell-bent on ensuring that we all know that this is out of character for him. And he says that Guy and Pascal bring a lot, ... And I think everyone was on the edge of their seats hoping he was going to talk shit. And instead he was just like, yeah, it's a lot of competition. It was just like, okay. They kept trying to make Chock somehow seem bad in this episode, in my opinion.
Can't do it.
Here we get Word Watch 1. Chock says it's either an engagement or I'm going to get my heart broken. And even though that is technically 2 words and not quite the context we had intended,
Still counts.
we decided it counts.
Yeah.
2 words.
He said heartbroken.
Heartbroken.
That counts.
Yes. Also, we needed one.
We needed one, yeah.
Okay, so now it's the evening on Guys Overnight. In his ITM, he says he feels even stronger than the last time he talked about how he felt about Joan.
Yeah.
And in her ITM, Joan says, he's really as strong as other connections I have now. They talk about the stingrays, and Joan says, on top of all these incredible experiences, they get to find love. And a guy's reaction here just cracks me up. He's like, he's really sweet.
Yeah, I think so.
He looks like he's seen like the face of God or something.
Yeah.
Like he just is so overwhelmed. He's very emotional. But Andy, you said, does she look like she's into him? And you said this during a lot of her purse-lipped eye contact avoiding.
Yeah.
She does this a lot with Guy. She avoids looking at him and she's like,
Doesn't look like she's into it.
No.
It looks like she's pleasantly trying to get through it.
Yeah.
I'll give her that.
They keep talking about how easy the day was, and I wrote, oof. And then he says, and we still have this evening. And she says, yeah, we still have this evening. Is this conversation?
No, it's not.
Come on.
It's not. They're trying to cordially get through this. Well, at least Joan is. Guy is in it.
And we still have this evening. Yeah, we still have this evening.
We still have this evening.
There's a lot of talking about talking.
With the pause placed in the right place, that could have sounded passive aggressive from her. Yeah. We still have this evening.
Well, speaking of which, she now mentions that she is not intending to sleep with any of the 3 guys.
As everybody who has ever slept with someone says.
So what you're saying is someone who would sleep with all 3 guys would say this.
All I'm saying is this. I'm saying in my life, there have been people who did not sleep with me. I mean, believe it or not, I know there's a few holdouts, and that just happens.
Yeah.
But I will say that very frequently, someone who made a point of saying, I'm definitely not having sex tonight.
Yeah. What percentage of those people ended up having sex with you that same night?
75.
Wow.
And I'm not boasting.
No.
I'm not this is not about me.
No.
This is about the situation.
No.
And I'm just saying that
I know you. Andy, by the way, would also really respect that. I think it just.
I totally respect.
Yeah, you would never
I don't disrespect any of that.
I hope no one's like,
I'm not holding. I'm like, you did say you weren't going to have sex, and you certainly had sex. I don't know about this. I think that it's a way of just anybody just releasing themselves. They're like, I am not doing this.
Yes.
I'm clean.
It's
done.
partly for themselves.
It's out of my control now.
Yeah, they're partly saying it for themselves. Yes.
And I tell you, it's fine. Yeah. I'm just saying that generally speaking, it doesn't hold a lot of weight for me.
I think the thing, it might sound like we're judging, but the thing we're judging is I felt judgment from her against people who would have sex with more than one person.
I felt the judgment from that. I also felt
and it's generational. I think it's partly generational.
No,
so I'm not coming at her.
There is no judgment.
I just don't judge someone. And of course, this is also my generation. Someone who would have sex with all 3 people because they're supposed to get engaged at the end of this, and maybe they want to just like test drive that car.
You know, I agree.
But we also, the core audience of the show, I think, would be very much in her camp.
I agree with you, but I also just one other point. I also think it's a big assumption to make that all these guys are just going to be like, let's have sex right away.
Yeah.
Like maybe these guys are like, no, I'm not going to have sex. I want to get to know you more.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm curious what other people thought of this. I can picture this landing very well, like I said, with a vast majority of the viewers of this show.
I just think it doesn't need to be said.
Exactly.
It doesn't need to be said.
Something about saying
I'm not against the intent.
I agree. To me, it just sounds like the saying of it sounds judgmental of people who do.
Yes.
You can just do that for yourself.
It's also saying the thing that doesn't need to be said.
Yes.
I think that these are things that can be done in action.
Yes.
What is going to happen? Like she's going to get in there and the guy's like, well, you didn't say you weren't going to have sex, so now you have no choice.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I guess,
It's The Bachelor.
we have to remember she is a widow. She's got adult children, grandchildren. Maybe you just want to,
I think it's...
maybe we're being too hard.
I think she could have trusted the audience and felt that we assumed that she wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
That we safely assumed.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough.
We could really slice and dice this one forever. Okay, so Guy loves this. He says, could you say something wrong for me? Because she says everything right. And Guy
loves not having sex. anything she wants. It's like anything. You give it to me, I'm eating.
I thought it was sweet how we talked about how, sex at 25 is different from sex at 35 or 45. And now emotional intimacy is what means the most to him.
And I agree 100%.
I do think that happens, yes.
I agree 100%.
And she hands him the fantasy suite card. And Andy, you said, it holds a little less weight. Okay, so now it's the next morning. And we just cut right to Guy's B-roll. There's no morning after footage of breakfast together, no robes, none of that.
No.
He did not stay the night, as far as we know. Guy seems very satisfied with the level of emotional intimacy achieved.
Yes, heavy. Yeah. They went to fourth base with emotional intimacy.
Chock's overnight now. Guy says, you look marvelous. And I liked this for some reason because I think the word marvelous should make a comeback.
Marvelous. Remember was that before your time, the guy on SNL? Mm-hmm. It was Billy Crystal.
Oh,
he
Billy
did the guy.
Crystal.
He played this guy. It was I forget. There's the guy in Love Boat. I think the actor. I forget.
Okay.
He was like this. He was like a very it's like a Spanish very romantic actor.
Okay.
Anyway, he used to always say you do look marvelous. You look marvelous.
It's a great word.
You look marvelous. You look marvelous.
Andy, you're pretty good at that.
Yeah, you look marvelous.
I think you should invest more energy into your impressions.
Maybe.
I think you do a decent impression.
Thank you.
Certainly of someone selling reverse mortgages. People really liked that last week. Okay, so we have to mention how much more Joan smiles in Chock's presence. There is no comparison. They go ATVing. Turns out he has 2 of these at home. Casually.
I don't know if I trust a guy who has 2 ATVs.
Judging
too many ATV.
That's a lot of property.
1 is enough.
You can't race with only 1, Andy.
Well, you know what ATV? I guess the ATV on land is the same as the what do you call those things? The jet ski. What's the name? There's
jet ski.
No, there's a name. It's
Sea-Doo.
Sea-Doo. Yeah, it's like having Sea-Doos when you live on a lake.
Wait, is Sea-Doo American or Canadian?
I don't know. I think it's American.
I thought American was jet ski and Canadian was Sea-Doo.
Jet ski is the name of a brand? I thought jet ski is the generic term.
I think so, and I think Sea-Doo is the name of the brand.
Oh, so Sea-Doo is Canadian?
I think that we call them Sea-Doos in
I don't
Canada.
know if anybody's interested in this conversation. But I will say that I think if you live on water, the ATV is the equivalent of ATV is the jet ski.
Oh, so you think he was flexing the way Guy was flexing his boat, boat.
I think it's fun.
Yes.
No one's knocking. Jet ski is way more fun than ATV and safer, by the way.
I mean, if I lived on water, I would have a jet ski.
Yeah,
if I could afford it.
But if you lived on land, would you have an ATV? That's the question.
You make a good point.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're judging him.
No,
We're a judgment-free zone, Andy.
No, ATVs. You know what? I don't get ATVs. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Maybe that's a Kansas thing.
No, it's not just a Kansas thing. It's a lot of thing. If I lived in the Sahara Desert and I could ATV over dunes,
yeah,
I would do that. That'd be cool.
I mean, you want to drive in a thing. I don't know why this bothers you so much.
Yeah, I think it's something I have some issue with ATVs.
Yeah.
Maybe I have to look into that.
Did someone once offer you candy from an ATV? Okay, so they go very fast. Joan loves this. In her ITM, she says he makes her feel safe. But even this, I mean, I was hoping for, I don't know, something to make this whole episode a little more exciting. I don't know. Even this, they turned this into sweeping drone footage of them going too fast. And the music was all kind of sloppy. This episode was just
well, she trusts him. She trusts him
Oh,
implicitly.
yeah.
He can drive an ATV as reckless as he wants, and she feels like she's in good hands. I get that. That's all right. I'll take it. I'll take the message.
No, I'm being too critical.
Too judgmental.
I guess. Yeah. She definitely seems to trust him.
Yeah. All right. There's trust.
I want more conversation about just nothing. None of this.
Just nothing.
I want them to just go walk in a field and talk about the plants they see.
I want them to have a whole conversation about whether or not ATVs are a good thing to own.
Yes. That's the kind of thing I want to watch. Yeah. No more talking about how great your connection is.
Don't care.
how safe you feel.
Show me.
Show
There's
me.
nothing I want to be shown more than told than someone's connection.
I'll never forget when I got my first hometown on my season, not hometown, my first date, my first one-on-one on my season, which was in Seoul. I was so relieved at the activity because I was like, finally, we can like talk about other things, external things.
Yeah.
Like we were able to walk through a market and point out things, point out foods.
Just
Yeah, other things
random
because you
stuff.
learn so much more. I'm sorry, you do. You learn so much more about a person and your compatibility based on moving through the world, observing other things
course.
together than talking about how great you get along.
Absolutely. I could learn more about a woman observing a leaf
Yes.
than an hour of her telling me how she
What she's looking
feels
for.
about our life and our future.
Totally. And I think we saw that best demonstrated on Pascal's overnight date when they were talking about the poulet, the chicken, the cock, the
poulet.
chicken, the cock.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, that was so much like that was like realness. You know, this
Yeah.
other thing. It had nothing to do with their connection.
Yeah, it's almost feels, you're like, whoa, what's going on? That's a real conversation happening?
Yes.
It almost it's jarring.
Yes.
Why is it?
And I find it concerning that we see so little of that with anyone, really, to be honest.
I'm gonna state something that I think may be obvious, but I think that to convince me that this isn't simply a game
Yeah.
show
Yes.
and they're not just trying to win, I need to see conversations that are not that. Because if you're on this show and you keep talking about how strong your relationship is and how this and that and how much all the things you think or the things I think, and I like that you love family and all this stuff, to me, you're trying to win a game.
Yeah.
You're just saying, oh, look, I'm winning the game.
Well, can we kind of blame production for that? I understand this is what they always do. And every single season at this point in the show, the overnights, you know, all these conversations, like they're trying to convince us how strong each relationship is. However, this is a very sleepy season.
Sleepy.
There's been no drama. There's been no conflict between people.
And there's been a clear winner for a while.
Yes. To me, you have to move with, it's sort of like how I criticized how the week going before hometowns, that it's so clear with Joan's personality that they should have had second one-on-ones instead of first one-on-ones with Keith. Like, come on. Like, that was, like, why were we watching that?
I agree.
And so to me, like, you have to be flexible and not just stick to this rigid formula and edit everyone the exact same way, because all I was bored. I'm sorry.
I'm 100% with you.
Like,
and can I tell you something
heavily
else?
bored.
Can I tell you something? Can I say
Yes.
you look marvelous.
Thanks, husband. I love that word, marvelous. It's musical.
Great word.
Marvelous.
Marvelous.
You
know what
can't
it
say
is?
marvelous. You can't say it like that. It deserves like marvelous.
There's so many syllables. There's so many more syllables than you need.
Yes.
And that just shows you're like, you know what? I'm going to give this all the syllables.
Yes. So, Andy, we are on the road, clearly. And when we are in Wexford, we're actually in a hotel room right now. But when we're in Wexford, we are using, you know, the kitchen that comes with our rental unit. But let me tell you what I miss when we're on the road. It's our hex-clad pans when we're at home.
Let me tell you something. I've used 1,000 nonstick pans.
Yes.
And they all go right in the garbage after 6 months. Hexclad's the only one that has made it past the 6-month point and is going strong.
Yes, but not only is it a great nonstick pan, but it also has the durability of stainless steel. We all want stainless steel cookware, right? Yeah. But we also want that cast iron versatility. And Hexclad has all of those in one. It's insane. And it's so confident. Hexclad is so confident in their products that they come with a lifetime warranty.
I mean, that's a very long time for a pan.
It's a very long time.
And I'll tell you, all the previous pans I've had, lifetime warranty of a fruit fly. And let me ask you a question, Sharleen.
Oh, yes.
Are you familiar with Gordon Ramsay?
Yes.
Gordon Ramsay.
Yes. I mean,
Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
The most famous TV chef. Do you think a guy as famous for cooking as Gordon Ramsay and famous for being a total jerk would have not only in his personal kitchen, but all his Michelin restaurants, Hex-clad cookware?
Yes, across the board.
We're not making this up. If we made this up, we get in trouble. This is a fact.
And finally, in case you're like, okay, this pan sounds great, but it sounds high maintenance. It's not. It's metal utensil safe, dishwasher safe, and oven safe up to 500 degrees.
Ooh, it's a lot of degrees. That's hot.
It does it all.
So for a limited time, our Shandies get 10% off their order with our exclusive link.
Just head to hexclad.com/Shandy.
Support our show and check them out.
Again, that's HEXCLAD.com/Shandy.
Bon appetit. Let's eat with Hexclad's revolutionary cookware. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Zoc.
Zoc who?
ZocDoc.
ZocDoc. We love us some ZocDoc. We are in Ireland right now, but before we left, we were heavily on ZocDoc before we came here.
We were heavily on ZocDoc.
We were heavily
We were hooked on ZocDoc.
Yes, we booked many doctor's appointments through ZocDoc. I mean, they have over 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty. We're talking mental health to dental health, eye care to skincare, more.
I like more.
And so ZocDoc, it's a free app and website, and it's basically a search engine. You can search for doctors in your area who accept your insurance. You can vet the doctor based on how many reviews they have, what their star rating is. These things matter, crowdsourcing of reviews. Plus, on top of all that, you can book the appointment through ZocDoc. You never have to pick up the phone at all, which is what life is all about.
50 years ago, if ZocDoc existed, would anyone not use ZocDoc?
No.
Okay.
No. In fact, whenever we do a ZocDoc ad, part of me, I'm happy they're a sponsor. I love ZocDoc. We really use ZocDoc, and we used ZocDoc long before they came across the Dear Shandy desk as a sponsor. But I'm always like, who isn't using ZocDoc?
You know who's not using ZocDoc? People who don't know about ZocDoc.
Oh, that's where we come in. Mm-hmm. Yes.
We are the Johnny Appleseed of docs.
ZocDoc.
Was that a trumpet intro?
Oh, you don't think the Johnny Appleseed? What did he use?
Johnny Appleseed just threw seeds on the ground. And let me tell you something. No one else is going to be on top of your health.
No. There comes a point where your parents are not booking your doctor's appointments anymore.
Weren't those the days when your parents just did this stuff for you?
Oh, that's the dream.
You just sat back and you're like, oh, today you're going to the dentist.
Yeah.
Oh, today you're going to the eye doctor.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, dress me first.
So ZocDoc is the free app and website where you can find and compare high-quality in-network doctors, choose the right one for your needs, and instantly book appointments online.
Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically between 24 and 72 hours.
You can even score same-day appointments.
So stop putting off those doctor's appointments. Go to ZocDoc.com/Shandy to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today.
That's ZocDoc.com/Shandy, ZocDoc.com/Shandy. So in the evening now, let's talk about what Joan is wearing, because this was my favorite look, I think, of this entire season. She looked amazing. She was wearing this bronze metallic, one shoulder. There's an interesting texture in this dress, like towards the hem. I wanted to get a better look of it, which is always a great sign. And she was wearing this lovely matching shawl, but it wasn't too matching. It didn't feel dated. It felt modern, but elegant and timeless.
No.
This is a shawl done right versus on Jen's season. I mean, I love Jen, but she wore a lot of shawls that, in my opinion, aged her and sort of just felt dated. And this look was just beautiful. Do I wish her hair had been slightly back? Yes. I mean, it took some peering to see that it was one shoulder because her hair was obscuring everything. But I just loved this. I thought she looked gorgeous. I love the color. I love the material. I love the texture. I just wanted to see more. It was flawless.
Right.
Okay, so they keep forcing this ominous music around Chock, but I'm not buying it. I don't even know what it's about. Like him.
There's no ominous music.
Well, there was.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
No. They keep forcing it.
It's the wrong soundtrack.
It is. What's funny is I feel like they're trying to force this ominous music around Chock to suggest that she's not picking him. But even the content, all he's doing is telling her how much he is into her.
It shows how music in general in film and TV is so powerful.
Yes.
You ever watched like an amazing scene from some classic movie without music?
Oh, it's ruined.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this? Is weird.
Yeah.
And the fact that music can't even save this says something, because ordinarily I hear the creepy music. I'm like, oh, this is creepy.
Yeah.
Or drama, or I hear, foreboding music. It's like, this is foreboding.
Yes.
But then I hear the music. I'm like, what is this music?
Yeah.
This doesn't make any sense.
They chose the wrong track.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. They talk more about their connection, Andy. He goes on and on about how crazy he is about her. She says they match on so many things.
Yeah. I definitely think she's going to take advantage of pulling equity out of her home.
They talk about when he first saw her. They reminisce about their Disney date, about his hometown. I just want actual conversation.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's rough.
Reminiscing.
I want to love them together, but I would fall more in love with them if they just talked about, honestly, the weather. The weather. I would rather watch them talk about the weather.
I agree. And as Tony Soprano said, reminiscing is the lowest form of conversation, especially when you're reminiscing about something that happened like 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
That's almost a joke. Like we will make that joke. Like we'll be like, remember the time we did this thing, but it happened so recently that it's a joke?
Yes.
This is basically that kind of reminiscing.
Yes. And that's all we're being shown.
Yeah.
Joni in her ITM says Chock makes her feel seen and she has complete confidence that he would never hurt her. And meanwhile, Chock is saying even more about how she's the best thing. He says that she's the best thing that's ever happened to him.
We'll see in a few months.
It's kind of heavy-handed.
It's heavy-handed.
Don't you find?
I find it's
with
heavy-handed.
Chock?
I find it's heavy-handed.
I really like Chock, and I think he really likes her. And I believe that he believes what he's saying, but there is a world in which you could parse what he's saying and think it's a little love bomby. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me? Really?
I'm going to say something here. Because I'm going to have to...
This is a man that has been married then divorced. He was engaged to someone for 7 years and she passed away. He's got children. The best thing that's ever happened to me? Am I just being too judgy today? Maybe I'm in a mood.
No. It's okay. It's okay. And I will add that to go to bat for my man, Gary. Mm. I think Gary is going to have some competition with Chock in 6 to 8 months. I think people are going to be like, oh, Chock.
Oh, 6 to 8 months. You think something's going to happen?
I think, look, I hate to be this guy. I hate to be this guy. Because I'm sure a lot of people are sitting here enjoying the hallmarkness of this.
Yes.
But I mean, reality is going to have to set in here. And I think that Gary is not going to look so bad.
And when you say Gary, you mean Golden Bachelor Gary?
Yeah, what other Gary?
There was a Gary on this season.
Now, can you explain to me in what context I'd be referring to the other Gary on this season? Okay.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay, I'll give you that.
Anyway, but yeah, I'm just saying that I think in the end, I hate to say this, but I'm just making it's my opinion.
Yeah,
that's where I think
that's
things are
why
going.
people tune in.
I think that Chock and Gary are going to be thrown into the same bucket, and I think
where they think he's kind of slimy.
It's not like, oh, he did it just for the thing. He did it. But in the end, honestly, I don't judge Chock either.
No,
this is a show.
Yeah.
And Chock is doing a great job. And I honestly do feel that Chock has some feelings for Joan, but I think those feelings are a bit confused with the experience.
Yes.
And the end.
Yes.
And the potential.
Well, yeah,
non-romantic potential.
I completely agree. And this could be the show to blame and not Chock himself.
Yeah.
But because we don't have all of the in-between conversations or even a small portion, like even just like a little amuse-bouche of some chemistry between them that isn't just, oh, we bond on so many levels. Show us what they bond over instead of talking about what they bond over, because then this ends up sounding empty.
Yes.
And it sounds a little love bomby. It sounds like all words, and it stops being moving. It's too much of a good thing.
It reminds me of like when I was like summer camp when I was like 12 and I met a girl and we'd talk about how this was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
It was nonsense. It was nothing. We didn't have anything else other than talking about the fact that we're boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yes.
I did actually have a girlfriend when I was 12 at camp.
Really?
Yeah, I had a really early start. Kissed my first girl at 11. I think I've talked about this before.
Have you?
Had my first legitimate is questionable, but I had some semblance of a girlfriend at 12. And then
But nothing physical though. You were 12.
Yeah, I was kiss here and there, like a holding of a hand.
Oh.
But I did have a terrible dry spell. Starting after I thought this was it. I'm gonna coast.
Hey,
into
Andy,
the,
I think you need to reveal where these girlfriends occurred, because I know that you had these girlfriends in one place, not in school. You had them at somewhere else. Tell everyone where you had these girlfriends.
Band camp.
I'm not saying that lessens.
I was the coolest guy at band camp. Don't forget it.
And what did you play at band camp?
Viola.
Oh. And what did your girlfriend play?
Violin.
Oh.
Anyway, I had a big dry spell until about 17.
So before we move on, I'm feeling guilty. I feel like I'm coming at them too hard.
Okay, so you have time. This is real time. You can pull it back.
I think that Chock in some ways is perfect for Joan because of how effusive he is.
Yeah.
Because I think she really needs and wants that.
I hope for the best.
Yes.
For them.
Yes.
And I fear not the best.
Okay, so now it's the next morning. In his ITM, Chock says he's tired.
No. Oh,
he's not.
You know why
he
he's
didn't
tired?
get the memo on
he
what
had to
say.
stand up all night. There's nowhere to lay down.
No surfaces.
Just standing all night like a horse. Slept like a horse.
When asked what they did by his producer, Chock says that's just between him and Joan.
Okay, so would you say that if? Come on, is this a joke?
His ITM suggested that things happened.
He said more than if he had said what they actually did by saying what they didn't do. He totally spilled the beans.
Yeah, I feel like if he had just said, "Yeah, we just talked."
He spilled the beans.
Yeah,
you know what that was? That was a cheap move. That was the way a guy like. Well, okay. Let's say you're trying to find out what happened with me and some girl last night. Okay,
all right. Andy, did something happen between you and that girl last night?
Well, gentlemen never kiss and tell.
Okay, and now let's do what he should have done. Okay, Andy, what did you do with that girl last night in that hotel room?
Can I tell you something?
What?
She stayed up all night talking, and honestly, kept our clothes on, and it was great.
It's too much information.
I all clothes were on. I never loosened my belt.
No bras were unclasped.
No bras. There was about 8 inches between our skin at all times. And it was a great night. I had a tremendous case of blue balls in the morning.
Something about this felt like he missed the memo of what Joan was trying to maintain.
Yeah.
It was the era of non-mystery.
Right.
Like she didn't want mystery around it. She made it very clear. She wanted to be explicitly clear that no sex was had. And when he was
couldn't
had,
resist.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, that's
couldn't
between
resist.
me and her." Andy, you said so. He was basically saying they had sex.
If they didn't have sex, they had some stuff.
Yeah.
There was stuff that happened.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's just being a dick.
Yeah.
Because he's basically throwing Joan under the bus.
Yes. Okay, so now going into Pascal's overnight, Joan in her ITM says that Pascal had whispered after the last rose ceremony, "My walls are coming down."
That's not the only thing that came down.
Huh? What else came down?
His pants.
Oh, but not Pascal, though.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were talking about Chock. Sorry. Go back. Go back. Sorry. Go back.
Okay.
I always feel like somebody's watching me and I get no privacy. Rockwell. It's another Halloween song.
What?
Yeah, it's a Halloween song.
How is that a Halloween
It's
song?
creepy. Someone's watching him. It's a Halloween song.
Wait, so any slightly creepy song is a Halloween song?
I'm telling you, it's a Halloween song.
Wait, in that case, "Every Breath You Take" should be a Halloween song as well. Because it's also creepy.
I mean, creepy in more of a sexual way.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, that's not Halloween. Halloween is not about sex. I mean, it actually is.
Halloween is more about sex than Valentine's Day.
Can I be honest? Can I say something about the holidays?
Yes.
I know an amateur when they say New Year's Eve is the sex holiday.
Yeah.
It's so not.
It's Halloween.
It is so not.
Mm-hmm.
It's Halloween.
All right. Well, going into Pascal's overnight, Joan in her ITM says Pascal had whispered after the last rose ceremony, "My walls are coming down."
Oh, they're coming down. Oh, what's that song? And the walls came tumbling down. What's that song? Jericho? The walls of Jericho came tumbling down? Whatever.
Pascal and Jesse chat now. I quite enjoyed this conversation. This was the highlight for me. And has there ever been a better audition for Golden Bachelorette?
Oh, my dear.
Can I just say? Okay, so Pascal opens up here about his last relationship. It really hurt him. And he goes into detail here. He talks about how they really loved each other, but then they would break up, get back together, break up, get back together. And it was just very relatable.
Yeah.
When he's like, we have to just stop hurting each other like this. And then he gets emotional. He says he comes from an effed up background. His childhood was very difficult. And he says, when you're alone, the only person you have to take care of is yourself. And when nobody was there for you, you had to survive.
This is it, right? This 45 seconds of Pascal was more engaging and compelling and entertaining
than the rest of this.
Than the whole episode, maybe even the whole season.
I agree. He is magnetic. And I love how he has that freewheeling, fun, light side. He can make fun of himself. And then he also has the ability to really just clue into his emotions, which you really need in a lead.
Yes.
You do. You need this.
How can he not be Bachelor?
He could carry a season so well. He says people see him and make assumptions. and they have no idea what his background is. And he talks about how badly he wants someone to show he can trust and love someone again. And they hug goodbye and very briefly speak French to each other. What? And I just wish this whole conversation had been in French.
What a missed opportunity.
Right?
The whole thing in French. The subtitles.
Yes.
Why not?
We would have seen it, like even more. I think when someone speaks their native language is when you really see them come to life. And I mean, his English is so phenomenal, right? His English is flawless. But I just think that this would have been really fun in French.
I'm telling you, I think Jesse would get a lot more credit if they saw him speaking French fluently.
Yeah.
I think it makes you cooler.
It does.
We've talked about this.
Yes.
Anyway.
Okay, so Pascal has his overnight now. Andy, you really could not get past Joan's dress.
Yeah, looks like she had waded in some water.
It's possible. Was that water? Was that wetness?
Oh, was it wetness? Because it certainly looked like it.
The fact that we're not sure really says it all, doesn't it?
Maybe it was wetness.
Was it wetness? I think it might have been wetness.
Maybe the designer wants you to think it's wetness, like you're always on vacation.
They have a Tahitian spread here. It looks really good, although Joan is unimpressed with the breadfruit, but appreciates the bananas.
Yeah. Who doesn't like a good banana?
There's an amusing exchange where Pascal is finding out whether the chicken they're eating is chicken or cock. This is funny. Yeah. Andy, you said, that's the only cock she'll be eating.
Oh, wow. I didn't think that would make the cut. Nice.
I had to take notes of everything. There was nothing to talk about, Andy. You have to be careful what comes out of your mouth when we watch this show. Yeah, they do a traditional Tahitian bonding ceremony now. And let's be real, this date would have been much better suited to, I think, Guy or Chock.
I agree.
Yeah, this was not the right. I mean, maybe it was right.
Can we do away with these things?
No, I think that they're supposed to be, a nod to the culture.
I understand, but I feel like it's a little patronizing.
The releasing of the fears.
Yeah.
I mean, it's patronizing when you know it's not that person winning.
Yeah.
That it feels
I agree.
like
It cheapens it.
Yeah, when they had braided, it does cheapen it. You're right. Yeah. When they had braided this thing and locked their wrists, I was like, but he's not. This isn't the thing.
Yeah.
So now she's bonding with the wrong person.
Right, I know. And you're also minimizing the cultural aspect of it.
I agree. No, you're right. You're right. Pascal says he wants to release his wall and his fear is bringing someone into his life. Joan says, I want to release the fear of letting someone else in my life. Her fear is that she won't be honoring John's memory. And Pascal in his ITM after all this seems frustrated. And I really love this about him.
Yeah.
I love this about, he's so honest.
So honest.
He's like, I thought today might be a more fun, casual, being silly day. And he's like, all we did was talk about our emotions. And I wasn't ready for that.
Is this not so refreshing to hear?
It is so refreshing. No
one's ever said that before. In all of these things, where everyone gets to one of these and they're like, oh, crap.
That other guy got the catamaran.
Yeah. It's like, oh, we got an ATV, we got horseback riding, we got skydiving, I got the ceremony.
Yeah, the bonding ceremony.
No one wants that. Nobody has ever walked into that wanting it.
I think if you are winning, then this would be very
Even if
momentous.
You're winning, you want a fun date.
And what's interesting is that it feels like almost everyone who gets this kind of date is not winning.
I agree.
Like if anything, they want to give the fun date to the person they're choosing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is I don't know about this. I don't like it.
Do you think this is a thing too?
What's the thing?
Do you think this was authentic? The Tahitian bonding ceremony?
I sometimes wonder if they just make this stuff up, which is incredibly insulting. I don't want to think that's true. I think it's probably real because they get called out.
Yeah.
Some Tahitians people would be like, what the hell is this?
I hope so.
This. Although we were told that the throwing the rock into Lake Tahoe is not a thing.
Yes.
Not that Lake Tahoe is so culturally important.
Yes.
I'm just saying that's apparently something they made up.
Apparently the throwing of the rock, making a wish, was total BS.
Total BS. Why are you not taking Via? Why?
Yeah. Okay.
But seriously.
Why?
Yeah, because I didn't take my flow state today.
Yes.
And I don't feel like I'm flowing.
Oh, Andy normally takes his Via Flow State gummies before we record. They are THC free, although Via, I mean, they have quite the spectrum of CBD, CBG, and THC gummies. So you can get different arrangements of different ingredients, different functional mushrooms in there. It's really impressive what they've done over at Via.
Oh, yeah.
And you've really taken to the Flow State ones. And let me tell you, we miss them. We miss them here in Ireland. We were not able to bring them. So Via is renowned for their award-winning THC and THC-free gummies, drops, vapes. They have truly, like, it's a rainbow. Yeah. It is a rainbow.
All crafted with the highest quality hemp.
Hemp sourced from trusted, independently owned American farms. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, that is nice.
Yes.
Made in the USA.
Made in the USA.
And it legally ships to nearly all states.
In discreet packaging.
So if you're 21 or over, use the link to Via in our description and use code Shandy for 15% off.
After you make a purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Support Dear Shandy and tell them we sent you.
This fall, enhance your everyday with Via. Jenny Kane is a great look for sunshine or rain.
It's fall. It's getting chillier. And what is better for fall than a luxurious sweater?
I don't have an answer to that.
That's why we love us Jenny Kane here. I am wearing my Jenny Kane cashmere cocoon cardigan, which I now own in 3 different colors. So seriously, do I take my Jenny Kane? It's luxury. Andy, you have called it my made it clothes.
I mean, I look at you and I feel intimidation. They got boss energy.
They do. Their clothes are refined, elegant, less is more, and they are staples that make getting dressed easy. You don't have to think about it. Their stuff goes together. They go with everything else. It's basics, but like on a level.
It's basics with a capital X.
Yeah. Or a capital B, maybe.
Both ends deserve a capital. We're heading into gift giving season.
Yes.
Very stressful time.
It is a stressful time. I agree.
And let Jenny Kane take the weight off your back. This is a gift.
Yeah, well, because it's been curated for you. Also, you can't really go wrong because their pieces are so elevated and minimalist.
Right.
It's not like you're getting someone something that's like shocking the system.
These
it's
are
more
styles that don't go out of style.
Yes, exactly. And that the person's going to wear over and over. They will reach for it over and over again. Case in point, this black cardigan.
So find your new uniform at jennykane.com.
Our listeners, the Shandys, get 15% off your first order with code DearShandy at checkout.
That's 15% off your first order at JENNIKAYNE.com. Promo code DearShandy.
Let getting dressed be one less thing to worry about. Embrace your fall aesthetic with Jenny Kane. So yeah, Pascal is kind of, can we say pissed? I liked this.
Very disappointed.
Yeah, disappointed. I really liked this. He's like, you know what he did in this moment is he verbalized what I have been feeling, which is like, stop talking about our feelings 24/7. Let's just have fun together. You learn so much more about a person.
Right. And don't force two people who are trying to figure out what their feelings are to have this feeling conversation.
Yes.
You could even see when Pascal, when she said, oh, I'm trying to get over, trying to find love after, John's death. He's like, okay. He just poured the water. He's like, all right, whatever.
He's like,
is there anything fun after this, or are we just doing this?
In the evening, Pascal on his ITM says that the ceremony freaked him out. Joan is wearing a ribbed knit black dress. I thought this was nice with a round sort of silver metal detail thing, like a crisscross neckline. Again, I would have liked to have been able to see it better, but I'm mostly mentioning what she's wearing because I'm going to circle back to that in a second. Joan asks how Pascal felt about the day, and now he opens up about his experience on the show and how he didn't think he was going to make it very far.
He only wanted a medium amount of marketing, not the full package.
He asks, I think, a very valid questions. He's like, why am I here? Why me? Yeah. And I was kind of shocked that this hadn't already come up.
Yeah.
Because she has told us, she's told the camera that the way he lives life reminds her of her late husband. But she says that, she's hesitant to say this, but she does compare him to John. She wants to live a big, adventurous life. She doesn't want to waste a day. But Pascal, no. We said we wanted to see. We were
waiting for this moment.
Yeah, we knew that he must be really good at breaking up with women.
Oh, Pascal.
Oh, this is expert level. He says that.
Go ahead.
Is this his breakup soundtrack? 007. He says that the day scared him. He cares about her, but he doesn't feel like he can get to the place he needs to be. And she says, I don't want a broken heart at the end of this. Not quite a word watch. And she says, okay, he can't get there now, but can he get there at some point, like eventually? And then he goes, he says he knows what true love is. And he cares about her as a friend.
Dun, 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 dun.
But he's not in love. He says, I need that spark. Oh man.
Pascal. Oh my God.
And then he does a classic, it's not you, it's me. He says he's damaged goods and his heart is just not ready. Andy, you said, my salon is readier than ever. We were thrilled we got to see the master in action here.
Oh.
Well, one of the reasons we wanted to see him as Golden Bachelor was to see him break up with
Chef's
people.
kiss breakup.
Yes.
I have never seen in my life or experienced or been a part of a breakup so masterfully executed.
Yes, it was perfect.
He somehow didn't hurt her feelings.
Yes.
Made her feel okay.
Yes.
And never wobbled. There was never like looking down or looking up or like saying like, I like. No, it was just like.
He was laser. If anything, it might have hurt more because he was so attentive. And even when she seemed hurt after, he was protecting her from the cameras. He was like, telling her he loved her and like, kissed her goodbye. Like it was so good.
What's his body count, Pascal? What do you think? Over 100?
Like how many people has he broken up with?
Yeah, like 100, 500. 1,000.
It's certainly in the 3 digits.
No question.
He is professional.
Oh.
It was firm but gentle.
This is a 101. This is if you're having trouble ending something. Watch this.
Yes. Joan in her ITM says that it's not the way she pictured it going, but life has a funny way of doing that to you, not turning out how you thought it was going to. Joan has a way with these. Sort of like on The Golden Bachelor when she said how she has felt invisible. These truths. He comforts her, kisses her goodbye, and then elegantly prances down the stairs away. And Andy, here you said, I feel like Pascal has killed somebody.
I mean, just one person.
Just one?
Yeah,
2
max.
Maybe that's a requirement for becoming Golden Bachelors, having bodies under the floorboards. Okay, Joan in her ITM. In what appears to be a pickup, I have to mention, she talks about how when you love others, this is the part that moved you. When you love others like your children, you hide your emotions away and over time you sort of become that.
Yeah.
Andy, you were really shook by this one.
Heavy stuff.
How you sort of separate yourself from your
Some
emotions.
real truth.
You become what you first were just acting the part of. And she says she was starting to feel more and more hopeful. This is in that ITM. Now it's down to nothing. This is what she says. And this is where I think the pickup thing matters. Okay, so anyone who didn't used to read my blog, a pickup is an ITM that's done after the fact. So you're often, if you don't have the same outfit, then in this case, she's wearing just a black tank top. She's not wearing the same knit ribbed dress that she was wearing on this date. And we see footage from this same pickup in the finale. So I actually think the person she was talking about here, about how she was starting to feel more hopeful, now it's down to nothing. I don't think she was talking about Pascal at all. I think they applied it to this date to make the ending of this episode more dramatic, so people might be more likely to tune in.
That was a good catch.
Yeah, because she's not wearing her dress here. No. And I think we can all agree that this reaction it felt a little disproportionate to her connection with Pascal.
Or maybe Pascal was the one. We missed it the whole time. Yeah, I know. Just saying.
I think rejection sucks.
Yeah.
No one likes feeling rejected.
And no one wants to be rejected by Pascal.
If you're going to get rejected by someone, I think Pascal's a pretty good one.
Yeah. That's like getting killed by James Bond.
Yeah.
It's like if I'm going to get killed, I want James Bond to kill me.
Exactly. Okay. So, Andy, that's the end of the episode. It brings us to your A game. Do I even need to ask?
Oh, I'm insulted by the question.
Okay.
Honestly, this may be the A-est game I've ever seen in the entire franchise.
And a perfect audition.
I wish I had seen this when I was a kid. It would have saved me all the trouble.
Yeah.
You know how terrible I was at breaking up or getting broken up with? The whole thing was a mess.
Yeah.
I just watched Pascal like, oh, that's how it's done.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how good I was either. I think I was a little too cold in my breakups.
Well, that's the problem with breakups. It's like when you say, oh, someone's good at breaking up, that might mean they're a psychopath.
Yeah.
Like if you're just like, I've decided our relationship is over. Goodbye. You're a crazy person. That's too cold.
Yeah.
You have to find the middle ground.
Yeah.
Did Pascal not do that perfectly?
Yeah. No,
with elegance?
It's true.
Come on.
Yeah.
I feel honored to be broken up with by Pascal.
Okay. So Pascal's your A-game winner. We get it. Okay. That brings us to our word watch. There was only one heart broken, and technically it was two words,
some people
not
might
quite
complain,
a context. But we do have a winner, and that is Annie Liebert. Congratulations. You are the winner of $100 to spend at FuranoStudio.com. Their jewelry. My rings are from there.
Yeah.
Yes. All my rings pretty much are
Yeah,
from
you
her.
love Furano.
Okay, so please email us by this Monday at midnight to claim your prize. And Andy, what is the word for next? Wait, actually, next week is mental all.
Yeah, we have no word.
We have no word. Okay, so we're going to put a pause on Word Watch.
Yeah.
And next week, we'll announce what the word is for the
Correct.
finale. Okay, got it. Okay, so there's no entering right now.
Sorry.
Okay, sorry.
Not our fault.
All right, Andy, that brings us then to our predictions. Okay. So, Chock's winning.
Yeah.
And the guy's going home. He's going to be heartbroken. And as much as some people seem to think he might become Golden Bachelor, I really think it's going to be Pascal, and it should be Pascal.
100%.
Pascal is a star. He is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity Golden
I
Bachelor.
thought Gary was the once in a lifetime.
Yes.
It's Pascal.
Yes. Especially with his backstory.
And with the accent? Are you kidding me?
And his salon. Oh my God. I would love a group date where he cuts all their hair.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. It's fine. I'll watch that.
You say, okay, you are like poo-pooing that because
I'd be into
you
it.
poo-poo so much.
I do poo-poo.
But I'm telling you, you would be into that. When I used to watch America's Next Top Model, literally the only reason I would watch was to watch the makeover day.
Is that okay? Good. Good. I don't know what to say to that.
Okay. I've made you speechless.
Yeah. I will say this: if Pascal is the Bachelor,
Yes.
they're gonna have to bring a lot of body bags for that season. It's gonna be a massacre.
Yes. He's going to break up with a lot of women.
Mercilessly.
Yeah. Well, it's his job.
It's his job.
He is qualified for the job. Guy, you think Guy's broken up with a lot of women?
No.
No.
He's gotten broken up with a couple times though.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, guys gotten broken up with.
Guy's sweet.
He's sweet.
He's so sweet. We're dissing him. We love Guy.
We don't know anything
He's
about
so
Guy.
endearingly nerdy. I really love Guy. It's
Who
just
knows?
Pascal is like, he is TV. He's meant for TV. This whole episode, like he was perfect. Oh, I hope they don't disappoint me.
Yeah. It's not going to be Guy. Guy's got dirt.
Oh, you think it's the dirt that
He's
will
got
prevent
dirt.
it?
There's no way.
For me, the dirt is kind of irrelevant.
Well, it's not official.
Yeah. It's not like, what's his name?
The other guy. Gil.
Gil. Good
Nice.
job. Good job. Another 3-letter
Yeah,
name.
with G.
Yeah. And I think that the whole story behind Guy is not official enough to ruin his chances. I think it's just that his personality is not quite right for this.
Where there's any smoke, it's enough fire for ABC. They're not going to, Guy's not Bachelor.
Yeah.
Not happening.
Yeah.
It's Pascal.
It has to be.
Unless Pascal says no. And trust me, Pascal wants a bigger salon. He's got a big one. It can always be bigger.
Okay. Well, I think that's where we wrap this recap, Andy.
That's it.
Okay. If you enjoyed what you heard today, you know what we will ask of you, and that is to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on Instagram and
TikTok.
Leave us Apple and
Spotify.
Podcast ratings and reviews. Tell your friends and generally do all the things you do to support a podcast you enjoy, and that takes you around the world with it.
Yeah, and happy Halloween and
Ruby. Ruby got a haircut. Oh, look at her haircut. She looks like a deer.
She is a deer. Here's a deer. Here's a deer. Who's a deer? Is this a deer? It's a deer. It's a deer. It's a deer.
Okay, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye-bye.